This is my third time trying to record this video, dude. Look at how long the video is. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing better than me right now. If you guys didn't know, which I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably did know, it probably has come to your attention that I just recently released a new album that I have been working on throughout quarantine. I started recording it through April, and I finished it late August, and then I released it. By the time you're watching this video, it is out. I'm recording this at a time of the song where the album's not out, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, I want to talk about this album because I did a lot of cool things production-wise that I've never done before. I tagged this as an experimental concept album written by a fictional character. That's kind of like the idea of the album. There's like this whole underlying story of the album, but I'm not going to talk about the story here. Fuck the story. I'm here to talk about production. I'm here to talk about how I made some of these tracks because I feel like it'd be fun. So yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about Strange Holiday. So if you listen to the album, you like the album, you're into music production, then keep watching the video. If you didn't listen to the album, then what are you doing here? Get out of here! Go listen to the album. This video is obviously, it's obviously going to be really long. First two times I tried recording it, I was recording for 30 minutes, and I only got through 8 songs, and there's 15 songs on the album, so it's going to be a long video. So I'm going to put timestamps in the description. If you want to know how I made a specific track, then go ahead and click on that timestamp. But if you want to stick around for the whole ride, then buckle up. It's going to be wild. So I started off the album with the song called We Interrupt Your Regularly Scheduled Programming. Very fun song. Took a while for me to make because fun fact about the song, it's just a bunch of loops and chops and loops and chops that I kind of put on into the song. You know, if you take a look at our visual here, there's a loop there, there's a loop there, there's a loop there, there's a loop there, bunch of chops there. I want to talk about how I made how I did this first sound that you hear. Not the original sample, that's just a sample I took off the line. This sound. What I did is I grabbed my synthesizer. I don't know what the name of the synthesizer is, I forgot, but whatever this guy's called. I grabbed that synthesizer, and there's a preset on it called flutes. So I went to that preset, right? And I stuck my finger on one key. I think it was actually 2. It might have been 2 fingers. I stuck 2 fingers on 2 different keys, and I held it there. And then I took a delay from Ableton. I went over here to this nice little bar here, and I took a delay, and I put it on that synthesizer, on that track. What Ableton does that's really cool is that there's these cool numbers here. The numbers symbolize kind of the timing of the delay, I guess. So it's like split up into the 16th notes. And so what I did is while I was holding on to those notes, I kind of just kind of clicked on different delay timings. So that's how, like, when the sound like kind of like dips down and then it catches back up again, that's because I'm literally changing, like manipulating the timing of the delay as I'm recording the song. And so that's how I got that sound. And then I just kind of I threw another, like, a bassier synth over it. And then I have there's some guitar loops over it. There's like a reversed guitar in there, and there's like a delayed guitar that's in there. And so I was like, all right, cool. I have this build now, and I like the way this build sounds, except it's too boring. What can I do to spice up this build? I was like, oh, I know what I can do. I've never messed around with samples before. Let me go online and let me find a bunch of samples to put over here. And man, if only I knew what I was getting myself into. I spent one morning sitting through so many videos of elderly people talking about life, talking about wisdom, talking about whatever old folks talk about. Man, it was the longest morning of my life, let me tell you. I have a newfound respect for the books after sitting through that morning because the books, they use so many different samples, and I don't even want to think about how long it takes them to compile all these samples into something as coherent as they do. If you never listen to the books, I highly recommend it. They're fucking insane. Like, and I mean that literally because they gotta take forever to find those samples, dude. And then the drums, I want to talk about the drums on this as well, because I was literally manipulating the timing of the song. or not the song, just like that one delay. It was very hard for me to play the drums live like I normally would. Like normally I would record the entire song, or the drums for an entire song live, right? I couldn't do that. I couldn't play in time with the song because I'm fucking changing the timing of the song. Not like actually, but like just that one part. And it throws me off. It threw me off, man. It threw me off. So I was like, how can I fix this? How can I make this work? Oh, I know what I'll do. I went to an empty spot on Ableton, right? And I recorded my drum fill that I wanted, my drum beat that I wanted, recorded some fills, did some fills, more drum beats. I took that and I chopped what I wanted, and then I put it in the song. I just sprinkled it all on in there, little sprinkles. So I got some drums going in the left ear, and I got some drums going in the right ear. It kind of pans back and forth. And then whichever ear doesn't have a drum, I took my guitar and I kind of did this thing where like I kind of did like sketchy playing, I guess. I was like, I put that in whatever ear drum doesn't have. The guitar solo in the song was just me playing. I just played like a few notes on a guitar, and I chopped that up and I like reversed it, and I like kind of like did some weird shit with it. The synth solo is just me playing the synth, and then I chopped that up manually. It took forever to do that. I kind of, if you take a look at our visual here, I just kind of went through the synth. I was like, nope, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that. So that's how I made that song. I promise I'm not going to spend that much time on every song, because that song just has a lot of production stuff. Wide awake in my bed on long nights, thinking about the past, present, and now we go to the next song. Yell! Scream! Live loud! The next song, Yell, Scream, Live Loud. This is one of the very first songs I recorded for this album. Something that I find interesting about this whole album in general is that normally when I would make an album, right, I normally write every song before I go out into the recording process, because like I'm a guitar guy. I know, like I write the song on the guitar, then I record the guitar and build off of that, you know? But for this album in particular, there's a lot of songs, this is one of them, where the recording and writing process were intertwined. And so what I did is I started off with the drum beat. I took the Ableton preset, whipped up a quick drum beat, you know, and I did like some live drums over it. So there's like a live ride, there's a live snare on it as well, doing its thing. And then I recorded the rest of the song based off of that beat. Like I recorded the synth, and more synth, and then more synth. There's a lot of synths in the song. There's one part in here that's really cool as well, something that I've never done before. I chopped up my vocals like a chef, man. So yeah, I just sung the Yell, Scream, Live Loud part, and I went in and I chopped it. I was like, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that. I do it again in here. That part took forever to do because I had a specific way I wanted it to sound. That's how I wanted it to sound, how it sounds on the album. But it took so long to try to get that to sound like that. There's a lot of Control-Z was in the writing process for that. And then Madison Moreno makes an appearance on this song, the amazing Mad X Sin. If you haven't listened to her music, I highly recommend you do. She has her music up on SoundCloud and Spotify and Apple Music and all that. She has more songs up on Spotify or on SoundCloud, sorry. She's also working on a bunch of cool stuff, which may or may not be released by the time this video is out. So go check her out. She makes some really cool music. After Mads and I do our little singing part, there's this little like guitar solo thingy that it's not like an actual guitar solo. It's just me strumming the guitar, but I chop it up so it sounds like this. That's just me going through and chopping it up, you know. I did a lot of chops in this album. I chefed up some stuff, you know. During the outro of this song, this part, not this part, it's coming up. That part. What I did there, very simple stuff. I just took the last strum over here and I reversed it. I mean, that's how I did that. But it sounds cool. And then like kind of like chopped it up and added more to it. So that's Yell, Scream, Live Loud. Let's go to the next song. Sinking Slowly. It's one of my, I mean, I would say one of my favorites, but to be honest, all these songs is one of my favorites. I love every single song on this album. That's why I put every single song on this album, because I'm so proud of how it sounds, dude. I love it. I love it. I love it. Singing slowly, pretty simple. This is one of the songs where I wrote the guitar first and then recorded it. So is the opposite of Yell, Scream, Live Loud in terms of writing. There's this kick drum at the start of it, like a programmed kick beat that I took off a preset of Ableton, this little thing. That was initially intended to be a metronome, and then I just decided to keep it for the rest of the song because I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. There's not a lot going on here in terms of production. I just got the guitar going, then you got the bass going, then you got the synths going, then you got the drums going. However, there is something interesting about the drums. There's 5 different drum tracks, 7 if you count the cowbells at the end. And so there's 2 doing the main drum track, the pan left and right. This is how I like to do a lot of my drums. I like to pan them left and right. It gives a more wider, fuller sound. If we look at our visual here, you'll see that there's 3 tracks titled toms. And what those are is the that you hear during like transitions in the song. So like this part. That's these 3 guys right here doing their thing. So there's one in the center, one in the left, one on the right. Also, one of my favorite parts, not only in this song, but one of my favorite parts in this entire album, I'm going to highlight it. I love the way that second synth sounds combined with everything else. Like, I'm just really proud of how that turned out. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's such a shame I can't get away from that. After that, we go right into Out of My Head. We're going to do Out of My Head and Time to Breathe together. This is because, look at it. This is the same project, so it's just we're going to do it together. Out of My Head's very simple, very basic. I just got a drum loop going. I've just recorded a live drum beat, and then I just looped it. And then I got 3 basses in it, because you can never have enough bass. We go wild on the bass. We go wild. We got 1 in the center with overdrive. Then we got 1 on the right, 1 on the left with just a shit ton of reverb on it, doing its thing. Then we got a little synth doing its thing. And then I recorded vocals over it, and that's how I made Out of My Head. Very, very simple. But then we get to the end, and there's this cool thing. At least I think it's cool. I've never done something like this before, where I have a song that transitions directly into the next. Something I've always wanted to do, but I've never done it. So I'm really happy with how it turned out, and it was very easy to do. If we take a look at our visual here, I basically just sung the Give Me Time to Breathe part, right? And then I took the breathe part of that, and then I looped it. It's very obviously a loop if you listen to the song. And then I looped more breathes over that breathe, going higher and higher with each breathe, because why not? So that's how I did the transition. For Time to Breathe, I've got this LCD sound system inspired beat going. There's a drum track, and then I got some cowbells going. Then I got some bongos with overdrive, because I like the way bongos sound, but bongos with overdrive, like, oh man. Madison Moreno makes an appearance in the song again. We do our we do that part together. And then at the end of the song, there's a sample. But originally, the sample was not there. Originally, it was just a song, and the song ended. However, when I showed the song to Mads, she's like, Kyle, what are you doing? You could throw a sample here, and it would sound so cool. I was like, wait, Mads, you're so right. We could totally do that. We sat there trying to figure out something that, like, maybe we can say it, like, we could have, like, a conversation or something, but we just couldn't think of anything that would not sound cheesy. So I was like, you know what? I'll just find something online. So I went to a TED Talk about some dude talking about breathing, and that's where I got that clip from. Hopefully that guy doesn't sue me. Also, fun fact about this song, this is the only song in the album that does not have a synthesizer in it. So that'd be interesting to tell you guys. They always ask the exact same question over, I can't take it. I think he's losing his mind. I love this song. I love this song. I love this song. I love the way Mads sings in it. Mads makes another appearance. I love the way she sounds in the chorus and the outro, where it's like, if I say it all the time, I must be fine. I love the way she sounds in it. It sounds so cool. So this song is another instance where the beginning drum beat is supposed to act as a metronome, and I just decided to keep it. Although that was more intentional than singing slowly. Yeah, and then, so that's a drum beat that has like a delay on it, so that's how it like kind of sounds like it's kind of stacking. And I got my bass going in it. I use a shaker in the song. I've never used a shaker in a song before. I have technically used a shaker in a song. In my first album back in 2017, I released an album called In Pieces. There's a song in Pieces called The Thinking Song. And what I did for the shaker and the Thinking Song is I took, like those coffee Keurig K-cup thingies. I took one of those, and then or two of those, my bad. I took my microphone and I went like this. That's how I got the shaker sound for the Thinking Song. But that's not how I got the shaker sound for this song. I actually did like I used an actual maraca type thing. And then I banged some drumsticks together to add some more percussive elements to the song. And then there's a wacky synth in the intro because the intro was too barren for my liking. It used to not be there, but then I just decided, you know what, we need something wacky here, so I threw something wacky. I love the way that sounds. That took me forever to record it because that was just me, once again, holding one note down on the synth. They call me One Note Kyle because I like to hold down one note. Just holding one note down on the synth and just twisting the knobs. I was going wild on those knobs, dude. So like I had to record that like 20 different times to finally get something that like actually sounded coherent in the song. I like the way it turned out. It like pans between the two ears if you listen to it on headphones. There's a part here. I think he's losing his mind. So that's Mads. Originally, I was going to find a sample online of someone saying that, but I just couldn't find it, man. And so when I had Mads over to record vocals, I was like, hey, do you want to say this line for me real quick? What else about this song? Anything else cool about this song? No, not really. I just really like the way the song sounds. Yeah. So moving on. I want to forget, to remember to forget. Dude, this song took forever, dude. It was so fun to make, but it also took forever. It took so long, but in a good way. Going into the writing of the song, I didn't know what I wanted to do for this song. The only thing I knew is that I wanted it to be a 7-minute song. I was like, this song is going to be 7 minutes long. So going into recording the track, I took a drum beat, or the Ableton presets, and then I just did a nice simple kick snare combo. Everyone loves a good kick snare combo, so I was like, let's do a kick snare combo. I looped that for 7 minutes. I was like, all right, there's a song, let's release it. Obviously not. Could you imagine that? I just put a 7-minute song and just boom, boom, just have that for 7 minutes. I want to talk about something here real quick in the drum beat. That right there is me. I went to my microphone and I went, hey, and then I like transposed it and I put a vocoder over it and I got that sound. I was like, all right, that's cool, let's keep it. I just kind of built more off of that, and then I chopped some vocals. There's so many vocal chops in this song. That's why the song took so long. So I just was chefing up, man. I was just chefing up, you know? So yeah, I went, and then I chopped that up, as you can see if you look at our visual here. I chopped that up, and then that's how I got that sound, and that's kind of built into the backbeat. Then I recorded the guitars, the bass, and then the synths and the vocals. And then things get crazy after that first chorus because I add another vocal chop. I go, ooh, ah, and then I chop that up. And I have the first one in the left ear, then the next one in the right ear, and that's how we get this. And then coming up here, something else that gets crazy. So how I did that is I took the scream from the second chop where I was like, ooh, ah, and then I reversed it, and then put it next to a non-reversed version of it. And then I think one of them is like transposed. One of them is like, because it's in the left and the right ear, one of them's transposed, one of them's normal, I think, or maybe they're both transposed. I don't know, we'll figure it out in post. The outro, things get wild. The outro gets crazy because I go, all right, I'm having so much fun chopping out these vocals. Let's just go crazy with it. Let's go full chef mode, Kyle, let's do it. Yeah, so I mean, if you take a look at our visual here, you can see just how wild I went with it. Like I was just, each one of these is separate vocal takes of me going, ah! and just chopping it up, and then just taking what I wanted, taking what I don't want, transposing it. If you don't know what transposing means, it like changes the pitch of what you're transposing. I don't know if that's like the official explanation for it, but basically it just changes the pitch of your track. So that's what I did. That's what took me so long, dude. Like holy moly. When you close your eyes, you can feel all the addiction. Everything that you've ever done on you inside you is so stronger when you can't shut your mind off. We got 41% left on the camera. We gotta do this quick. We gotta knock this out. We've already been recording for fucking 30 minutes. We gotta knock this out. I gotta get dinner, dude. It's 6:30. I gotta knock this out. Alright, a break from the chaos. This is another instance where this was supposed to be a metronome, and then I just decided to keep it throughout the entire song. First half is pretty simple. Just, you got my synths over synths over synths. I mean, if you can see how the way I titled the tracks here. Just a lot of synths in this song. I did my vocals. Mads also makes an appearance. Madison Moreno. Mad X Sin. Check her out. SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you want to. She's great. I really love the way our vocals sound on this song. She does a great job with this song. First half is pretty you know. But then the second half, it gets wild, dude. It gets crazy. There's a lot to discuss here. So initially, it starts with just 4 voices. So initially, it's just my voice doing 4 times. I got 2 higher harmonies, 2 lower harmonies, and then track that on top of each other. And then during the next line, Mads comes in. And so there's 3 of Mads vocals, 3 Mads vocal tracks getting thrown in there. And then by the time you get to the I want to shut my eyes and go to sleep part, there's 2 more vocal tracks to get on top of it. So it starts with 4 vocal tracks, then ends up with 9 vocal tracks. Fucking crazy. What was I thinking putting 9 vocal tracks in a song? How do I mix that, dude? I'll tell you how I mix that. Turn down the volume. Turn down the volume. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the first half there's these vocal chops that happen. And the reason why I mentioned those vocal chops is because it comes in again during the second half. So there's this part here. Originally, after it said I want to shut my eyes and go to sleep, none of the extra stuff there, the go to sleep, none of that was there. And so I showed the song to Mads, and she's like, Kyle, what are you thinking, man? Do something here. She's like, Kyle, you know the song Gotta Be Above It by Tame Impala? I was like, yeah, I know, I love that song. She was like, yeah, you could do something kind of like in the same style of that with that part, but obviously not saying Gotta Be Above It, you're saying go to sleep. I was like, Mads, you're a genius. So I took her voice and I did that. So that's her voice kind of going, there's a delay on it, and it goes, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. And then I put the vocal chop over it. Also, this part here, that was originally instrumental. But then Mads was like, Kyle, screw your head on, dude. We can do something cool with this. No, yeah, Mads was like, Kyle, we could totally do something cool with this. I was like, wait, Mads, you're right. We could totally do something cool with this. And then we totally did something cool with it. Yeah, I really like the way that turned out. Thank you, Mads, for such a great idea, because I didn't even think about it. Oh, yeah, one final little fun fact about this song, this piano at the end here. That is I think my great-grandmother's piano. Well, something higher up in the generation of not Reid's, but Rodefeld's, because it's my mom's side. Something in the higher generations, someone owned that piano, and it got passed down generation to generation. It's now sitting in my house, and so I use that to record that little part. I went on voice memos on my phone and just recorded that. Nice little break from the chaos, at the end. And that is where we reach the official halfway point of the album. If you want to know where I consider the halfway point, because it's an uneven track number, break from the chaos, piano is the intermission, basically. I said, shut up! You have no right, no place to scream. Then we go into freaking myself out. So I had this bass loop, right? I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I feel like I did a shitty job recording this bass loop. What I'm talking about here is I think I did a bad job looping it. I think I didn't correctly get the timing right on the loop, but I didn't notice it until I built the rest of this first half of the track. And by that point, I was like, fuck it. I mean, I hope no one notices. I do some little guitar bongos on the song too. I have an acoustic guitar and I like play a little bongo line on the acoustic guitar, you know, to add more percussive elements to it. I took an electric guitar and I muted the string and I kind of played on the muted strings. And then I said, "Shut up!" And then I had synths. So many synths, man. I love the way that comes in. I love the shut up. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love every song on this album, guys. I'm so happy. And what's interesting about this song is that I knew going in writing it that I wanted the second half to be completely different from the first half. So if you see here, after this drum loop or the bass loop ends, that's where I stopped for the day. I was like, all right, I'll figure out what else I'm going to do later. So I had that first half, and then I had the second half used to sound way different than what it is now. Originally, I had a completely different bass line that I was going to record and do for the second half, but I did not like the way it sounded. It just wasn't doing it. So I was like, all right, synth, let's take it out. Take out the synth. Let's do it. And I just played the synth. And if we look at our visual here, this whole section right here, all these vocals, I'm really happy with how it turned out because I did not know going in like how this was going to sound. But it ended up sounding really cool. So I just kind of recorded everything separately here. As you can see, there's a lot of different vocal tracks going in there. A cool little thing that I did that was like, it's kind of like, it's just something as a producer, when I hear the words circling around my head, like when I write that line and I look at that line and I listen to that line, I'm like, all right, let's make that circle around your head. So that pans from like it goes from the center to the left to the right, or to the center and then the right, and it just circles around your head, you know, because it's like why not? You're literally saying the words, so let's do it. So yeah, that's freaking myself out. Internal Glow. I'm gonna kind of speed through the rest of these because it's getting dark. I've also been sitting here for 40 minutes and then an hour before that because of fucking, you know why. So Internal Glow. That sound is fake. It's like a Ableton preset drum thingy, and I just kind of did that. Nice and cool and simple. This whole song is really simple. I mean, if you take a look at here, there's not a lot going on into the production side of things. It's just a lot of just layering. So I got like the drum tracks or the programmed drum beats going on, and then there's like the live drum tracks going on, and then there's the synth, there's the bass, and there's guitars. Madison Moreno makes another appearance on the song. Wonderful singer. Love the way she sings on this as well. What else? Yeah, there's nothing else going on in the song, to be honest. So now we go to feedback. Feedback is crazy, dude. This song was made on accident. So let me explain. I went in one day to record a track that I had no intention of making this track. I just did not know what I was gonna do. I just plugged my synth in the Ableton. I was like, all right, let's try to do something here. Let's get the creative juices flowing. But I don't know why, but the creative juices weren't flowing that day. I just couldn't write something that sounded cool. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll just put it away. I'll do something later. But lo and behold, for those of you that don't know, for those of you who aren't musicians like the rest of us, when you are plugging something in to, like you're plugging a chord into a guitar or a synth or a bass or whatever it be, if you don't plug it in all the way, there's like a feedback sound, you know? It's like a drone type sound. And so I went to unplug my synth and I was like, wait a second, I can do something with this. And so I recorded that feedback and then I kind of chopped it, I transposed some of it, and that's how I got this little bass line. And so I just kind of built the rest of the track off of that. You may have guessed it, but that's also why the song is called Feedback. So this was a completely instrumental song. I just kind of built off of that one feedback bass line type thing, put drum beats over it, put some synths over it. There is something cool about this song. At the end, there's like the little guitars going on at the end, the third section of the song, there's the guitars, and then I put a banjo in the song. This is the first time a banjo makes an appearance in this album, and also the first time an acoustic guitar makes an appearance in this album. It's not even like acoustic. I put overdrive on it, and then I layered it with other electric. So it's like just a really dirty fucking acoustic guitar. I love it. One more slow song for the people who get heart attacks too easily. Along with having the longest title in this album, it's also the longest song in this album. clocking in at 11 minutes long. What's interesting about this song, there's 3 different sections to it, right? Each of these sections were written at different times. The first section I wrote kind of during the writing process for Avenida. At least that riff was, the lyrics weren't. And then like the second part was written kind of in between Avenida and this. I started recording this project, and then the last part was written like when I started recording this project. And so I had like all these different sections for this song that like I didn't like the way they sounded on their own. Like they didn't feel like they were their own songs. So I was like, wait, let me just put them all together because they're all in like kind of the same key, I guess is the right term. I don't know. I don't know a lot about music theory. I just make music. The first section of the song does not have a capo on the acoustic guitar, but the last 2 sections have a capo on the 4th fret. So that's why there's that synthy transition between the first section and the second sections, because I'm putting the capo on the guitar. Also, I want to shout out my boy Will Toledo, because How to Leave Town is my favorite Car Seat Headrest album. And on I Want You to Know That I'm Awake, there's this part in the song where he mimics the guitar solo with his own voice. And ever since I heard him do that, I've always wanted to do that. Like I've always wanted to put in a song me mimicking the guitar solo with my voice. And I finally found a way to do that in a way that makes sense in the context of the album. I think I recorded that part when my parents weren't home, because I feel like it would just been really funny if they were home and I'm just like, wow, 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 because I recorded with headphones on, right? So it's like, that would be weird to hear. So yeah, that's that song. Hey, at least you're not dead. I've always wanted to title a song this, and I finally found a way to title the song this. Another pretty simple production-wise. I started with this drum beat. I wrote the song off that initial drum beat that I made in Ableton, and then put another drum beat over it because I thought that one drum beat was too barren, so I was like, all right, let me put a nice kick snare combo over it as well. Recorded the guitars, the synths, the bass, the vocals. Throw some live drums in it because I love the mixture of live drums and programmed drums that I did in this album. Yeah, nothing too interesting about this song, to be honest. It's just a cool song. I really like the way this song sounds. I can't go to bed without a certain type of mindset. The Banjo Song. 2 more songs left. We're gonna get this real quick. The Banjo Song. This is a song that I thought would stick out on the track listing a little bit. And, you know, if you look through all the tracks, you go, what the fuck is a banjo song doing there? I used an actual banjo for it. The intro, this part right here, I was just kind of banging on like the snare part of the banjo while like kind of fretting the chords that I was going to use for the song. Also, fun fact about this song, when my dad bought a banjo, right? So initially this song wasn't in the track listing, but my dad bought a banjo and I was like, fuck yeah, I want to make a song with a banjo. I learned 4 chords that day that he bought the banjo. And those are the 4 chords that this song is using. That's as far as I got on learning the banjo. And then Madison Rado makes another appearance in this song. Wonderful as always. I love it. And then, yeah, that's this song. Audacity crashed on me again. Yay. But at least the file was recovered this time, so I don't have to record the video for a 4th time. Strange Holiday. This is the last song on the album. What I would consider to be the strangest song on the album. This song was originally not, or at least this version of Strange Holiday, was originally not going to be in the track listing. So I knew I wanted a song called Strange Holiday in the album. I just didn't have a song written for it, you know? I just had the title. This song was one of the very first songs I recorded for the album. It was, I recorded the instrumental, I wrote the instrumental, had no lyrics for it. It was originally intended to be the album opener. And then a couple days later, I recorded We Interrupt Your Regularly Scheduled Programming. I was like, all right, don't need this song anymore. Throw it in with the rest of the rejects, because there's a lot of songs that were not released. There's like probably like 10 songs out of here. There's probably like 10 of these songs that were just completely scrapped. This was going to be one of them. However, fast forward in time, probably around, I don't know, maybe say July or something like that, I was listening to this song and I was like, wait a second, I could use this as an album closer. And so that's exactly what I did. I wrote some lyrics for it, and then boom, album closer. Or the synth sound that you hear is this little thing. It's not me going like this. Like, I mean, maybe some people think that it's me going like this, but it's not me going like this. It's me going like this. And then like kind of playing off of that, because what I did, I used an arpeggiator setting on the synth, but for some reason I was using a preset where like the arpeggiator setting doesn't arpeggiate throughout the notes, which was good because that's how I built the song. Did some drumstick banging for the percussive elements. I did some snares going. I threw a guitar over it with some cool effect, like a resonator effect that Ableton had as a preset. I have this little guitar percussion thing where I kind of play a muted guitar with it was like a flanger or like a chorus or something. This part right here, that was originally instrumental, but then I was like, no, that's boring. That's so boring. Let's put something there. So I channeled my inner Animal Collective and did some Animal Collective screams, screeches, noises. After that, there's this part after the close your eyes and start to chant. That's really interesting. That, I took the same thing from this song. From I Think He's Losing His Mind, and I put that into Strange Holiday, chopped it up, kind of reversed some stuff, and then used that. And then there's this crazy, crazy, chaotic moment. So that took a while to do, because what that is I took vocal samples from each song on the album and I just fucking splashed it on there. But we don't forget about We Interrupt Your Regularly Scheduled Programming, because at the end here, that sample is the same sample from We Interrupt Your Scheduled Programming at the beginning, where there's this elderly woman with a beautiful voice singing some opera. And so I used that sample in We Interrupt Your Scheduled Programming, and originally it wasn't in Strange Holiday, the song, until I was listening to it. I was like, this outro is kind of barren. What can I do to spice things up? Oh, I'll take that sample, because that sample, I only used a short section of that sample, so I used the rest of it in that song. And it just kind of ties up the album together in a nice little bow. And yeah, so that's Strange Holiday. That's how I made the song. That's how I made the album. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, I'm assuming, right? If you guys have made it this far into the video, if you're still watching this video, then that means that you've listened to the album, you really enjoy the album, and for that, I want to give you my deepest gratitude. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this album. It's a long album. This is a long video. So if you're watching still, I love you. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you're new around here, I make YouTube videos about, I just review albums. So I just want to say something real quick. This is going to be the last video that I shoot here in my childhood home. I'm going to be moving to Portland at the end of the month in September. I have one more video that I filmed before I filmed this video that's going to come out after this video. That's something a little different. I do not know when the next time I'll film a video will be, because I'm going to be moving into a dorm and I'm going to need to get a camera. I'm going to need to get a green screen. I'm going to need to get lights. I'm going to need to get a microphone. So I don't know how long that will take me to do, but I will be back. I can guarantee you that. So if you want to know when I make my triumphant return, go ahead and hit that little subscribe button, you know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for listening to my album. I really appreciate it. I really, really do. I will see you guys. Well, you'll see me in California in the next video, but after that, I'll see you in Portland, guys. See ya!